Human claps right now.
Yeah, big claps.
Yeah. Clapping. Our special. This is our special election day.
Am I supposed to clap? Oh.
You got confused. Yeah, clap it up for yourself. All right.
That's right.
You know, man, clap it up for exercising our rights. Our rights as citizens.
Exercising, and I was mad.
But
You watch this video, you see me bending over like I can't breathe.
Oh, yeah, when you ran up the rocky steps, yeah. And then you see, Farouk and Salim trying to pass me up.
Well, he was going as slow as
It's not a race,
possible,
bro. You're watching me. Your job is to stay behind me. Like, what are you doing?
Go
what are you
faster.
doing? Like, that's your job.
You had a head start.
That's how you know sometimes you go farther when you're by yourself.
It's called acting, my brother. Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media, and to my right
is me, the unprofessional.
Yes.
Always late.
Yes.
Always hungry one. It's your girl Miracle here on this great election day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome, Miracle. And masks to keep us safe.
Yes.
Right?
Niggas love safety.
Niggas love safety. Never like supremacy.
Yes.
In the building.
You in the building. Why are we mad?
Why are we mad?
That's a great question. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of reasons to get into why we mad, and we'll get into those.
You know
and my brother.
Yes. The Velvet Voice voting villain. You know. Yeah.
And we got our One Hood voting stickers. You know what I'm saying?
The electoral elite.
Hey, we made it.
Yes. Yes, man.
Made
Listen.
it.
Yes, man. It's this full-time supervillain, part-time voter.
Wow. This nigga was
come on, man.
Come on, they keep coming.
I'm just like,
Wow.
But it's me, man. It's me, the supreme Asiatic, intelligently divine.
Cool.
Come on.
Absolutely.
On election day.
Yeah, on election day, man. We're here, and it's gonna, the whole world could be very different by the time this airs, right?
You can't stop the rain.
By the time this airs,
We could be in slavery again.
We could be back in slavery.
Listen, man.
It could be,
I seen people on, and you know who you are, because I know you watch the show, talking about when you vote, make that shit red.
A black person.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know what I mean?
I love you, though. I love you. But I just got to have that conversation with you.
You're corny.
And here's the thing. It's not about red or blue.
100%.
No, it's not.
But in this election, the people who are literally talking about incarcerating people.
Yes.
Taking away marriage, taking away
rights,
opportunity to healthcare access.
Yes.
In my own state of Georgia, one of our main hospitals just closed because they refused to do a Medicare expansion.
Right.
That's going to result in thousands of people dying. They just happen to be red this cycle.
Yeah.
Herschel Walker played football when the helmets were soft.
You just love that one.
We're gonna get into Herschel a little bit, but you're right. I mean, it's come on, man.
And sometimes you make it purple. Sometimes you do make it purple.
Yeah.
I know you voted for Oz. It's gonna be okay.
This MAGA Muslim compadre,
the first Muslim, senator. Oz to say, I'm all about balance.
No, man, we rocking with Oprah on this one. But no, you make a great point, Miracle, because like you said, I mean, you're particularly here in Pennsylvania where you have a, gubernatorial candidate that went to the insurrection. That's really saying you have one candidate, Josh Shapiro, that's saying he wants to legalize marijuana. Here in Pittsburgh, if you are black, you make up 85% of marijuana arrests, and you make up, 95% of those that cops, when they want to charge you for a crime, a state crime, you make up 95% of those if you're black.
Right.
And so, do you have cousins and do you have brothers and sisters and family members that you love Or do you just want all black people to be in jail and incarcerated and further criminalized? I mean, so it is ridiculous, you know what I'm saying, when you think about it. But like you said, we're not about cheering on a candidate.
Yeah, no.
We're not deifying any of these people or hero worshiping.
And we've been, accused of being so democratically, minded, like we're only voting blue, that we're only like,
not you, but maybe us three.
It's funny, but the thing is, the Republicans boycotted us, and they did hit pieces on us. I'm very mad about this.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like
exactly.
we've been under fire from the left and the right.
And by hit pieces on us, particularly for some reason, all targets go towards Miracle.
Right.
That's so weird to me. But it seems like Miracle.
You know why? You know why? Sagittarianism. Sagittarianism.
We reach out. We did reach out, and I always reach out. I run down to conservatives, run down libertarians, their party folks, and I'm like, "Can you come on the program? Can we talk to you?"
Yep.
And they just be like, "No," and I'd be like, "Why? Don't you want to talk to black people? Like, don't."
No, they don't want to talk to black people. They want to talk at black people behind bars.
True.
And so,
or black people that work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Maybe they want to talk to those individuals, those black people.
Regardless of the thing is like if you're going to vote red, right? And I'm not saying I'm against you for voting red,
right.
But if that's the outcome of the election, hold your elected officials accountable.
Yeah,
Make sure you're talking to them.
They won't.
They won't. But I mean, the thing is like if that's how you're going to vote, demand something from them in return for your vote.
I mean, exactly. And I think, like I said, I think for us and,
and that goes if you vote blue also,
100%.
Demand something from the people you elect.
Yeah, we got on our One Hood Power stuff. And for us, I
like working out in my One Hood Power gear because it makes me feel powerful.
Okay, absolutely.
I'm not going to lie to you. I really do.
Yeah.
We do. We have some, we got some trainings and stuff coming up. Like we tell people how to advocate.
Absolutely.
We have direct requests. I know some people who vote red only because of guns. And I'm like, then like you should make sure that people who have gun convictions can get a gun within 5 years
100%.
or 10 years. Like there are requests you can have, and it's like our votes need to be competitive. Every party needs to come to black
100%,
people.
right.
Absolutely.
And I think
they haven't had to, and we have to push back on that.
That's a great point.
And I think for us, it's about, like I said, it's not about worshiping a candidate, you know what I'm saying, and like wearing capes with that candidate's name on it or crazy stuff like that. And it's not about even for a party, because we've been critical of all sides. For us, voting is a tool to build community power. It's not the end all to be all for our liberation. Our liberation isn't going to come through a voting poll, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's a tool that we can use to build community power. It's a tool that we can use to produce the policies that will make, we're here in Pittsburgh livable for everybody, not just a select few, right?
Right.
And when we see policies that are negatively affecting our community, it allows us to now have a conversation with folks, because we organize voters, we put folks in, we help to put folks in office, and now we have communication with these people in power. So for us, it's about building true community power and producing the policies that we want to see. This ain't about a person. This ain't about somebody's legacy. And this ain't about a particular party. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's how we should approach it. But we're going to see, man. I mean, I think, tomorrow's going to be wild.
It is. And I see
tonight's going to be wild.
It's going to be a wild week, period. But I seen something last night that was like, a vote is not a Valentine.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's dope.
Yes.
I was like, that was super dope. Yeah, that summed it up pretty well. But this is going to be a wild week. How long is it going to take to tally up the votes, you think?
Miracle?
By Wednesday,
by Wednesday?
No, Thursday. Pennsylvania is different.
What if we get an unfavorable vote or unfavorable election on the day Wakanda Forever drops? The irony in that, man.
that would be insane.
Who was it?
Stop speaking stuff into existence.
Wasn't it Nick Bosa? It was like, have you seen Africa lately? That doesn't look like Wakanda.
Probably.
Yeah, he said that
we're
shit.
gonna have a great.
Where's my sandwich?
Favorable.
I did want to.
We can eat now. Are we eating? Are we boycotting?
To me, I would rather us get through the show. You know what I'm saying?
Are we protesting our boss?
So look,
we're on a hunger strike until we get the election in our favor. I guess that's what it is. This nigga has denied me food the last 3 days.
I just wanted to read this thing. It says, a vote is not a Valentine. You aren't confessing your love for the candidate. It's a chess move for the world you want to live in. Ooh. So I just wanted to, bring that up since you brought that up.
I like to say, I always say it was Angela Davis, but maybe somebody else. But like voting is picking your enemy. No other place do you get to pick the person you go up against. Like, to me, that's what
Say that again.
Voting is like is picking your enemy. Because you're picking the person you're going to lobby. You're picking the person who you're going to be talking to, who's going to be making these decisions about your life.
Yeah.
And when I be out here telling people to register to vote, like Pennsylvania, you pick your judges. So if you know you're not living a certain way, or you know that you need certain things to be done, why not pick a person who can empathize with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before you pick someone who's just not going to listen to you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have a lot of race conversations that are happening.
Get ready for a very uncomfortable conversation on This Week in White Supremacy.
Well, I mean, I think, and this is one of the things about social media that I hate, right? Is like there's no room for nuance on social media, right?
Correct.
There's no room for nuance when you have like 140 characters or it's just a post, you know what I'm saying? Social media is also a place where you can just put a bunch of facts, quote unquote, on a meme and people will just believe it. Like the people don't do research.
No fact checking occurs.
They'll just share it and everything. And so, but now we're having this conversation around, what is it? Buck breaking? Is that what it is? Or are we watching?
I haven't heard that word in so long.
Oh, I hear
Are we watching buck breaking taking place? And it's around, and it was so interesting because it's around, and we talked about Kanye, and I know the focus is on Kyrie. It was around two individuals that have a history of saying some wild things. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like, I could see if you were talking about somebody that just came up, said one thing, and it was like, yo, they just said this one thing, like, let it alone.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about, particularly like Kyrie, you're talking about somebody that has an extensive history. Remember, bro was saying the earth was flat. You know what I'm saying? Bro was
niggas load science.
Bro was like,
niggas load spheres.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Wow. You know what I'm saying? And
it wasn't that funny.
And I don't know. And again, I don't know if
nuance.
I don't know if
niggas love sarcasm.
Yes. But I don't know if Kyrie was trolling people. I don't know if he was trying to be clever. You know what I'm saying? But he's somebody that has had, his conversation in the media has always been, kind of there's been a negative relationship between him and the media, right?
Yeah.
He left Cleveland, said a bunch of, negative stuff about LeBron.
He's like the Talib Kweli of the NBA.
But that's not even true, though. I'm gonna come out for Kyrie. Kyrie has been out here giving thousands of
No. I'm not. I haven't got. You're right.
My man
no,
Kyrie.
You're absolutely right. Kyrie has a. No, I'm saying. I'm trying to set up because I think part of it
not
is.
Talib.
No, a lot of it is Talib does a lot of great, community work too. You know what I'm saying? He's done a lot of community stuff.
There he go, defending his problematic black man friend again.
I just said same with Kyrie. If we're talking about community help, Talib has done community help and Kyrie has done a tremendous amount of community help. I was setting up his relationship with the media because he's had a very contentious one. He went to Boston, said he was going to be there forever, and then left, right? He saged.
Anti-black city, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He saged Boston
How
Garden.
dare he take care of his mental health and well-being?
Again, I'm not talking about whether or not he's making right decisions. I'm saying he has this contentious relationship with the media because to me, that became what made stuff blow up, right? You know what I mean? And it's really more I actually feel like a Kyrie, his issue wasn't necessarily with, folks asking him, because he apologized, right? It wasn't with Jewish people necessarily. He's always had this bad relationship with the media, and he's always had a very contentious relationship with the media. So then when Kyrie goes and shares this, because he just shared an Alex Jones clip, and they was like, yo, come on, Alex Jones is out here getting $1 billion settlements because he's lying on dead children, right? And so he was like, oh, I don't agree with Alex Jones, but that clip was from the 90s and that clip was true. You know what I'm saying? So again, here he is on some conspiracy type stuff. And then he shares this documentary. Now, I don't know if he watched the whole thing. I don't know what was going on.
That's the question. Did he watch the documentary?
Well, so
What's
we
it
haven't
called again?
Hebrews to Negroes. It's kind of like, remember From Niggas to Guys? From
That's what I
Hebrews,
keep thinking
from
about every
Hebrews to
time.
Negroes. Yeah, from
Niggas to
Hebrews.
guys.
And again, much respect for a black person who has been taught. You know, you go to high school, you go to college in this country, you're taught anti-blackness from the beginning, right? And oftentimes you have to do, we talked about that on the 100th show, right? About, you as a younger person on the Peace Trouble, doing your own study, right?
Yeah.
Of finding yourself. And so shout out to Kyrie for finding himself and looking for, his connection to spirituality. That's a great thing. But when you share this, like, it's hard to say you wasn't promoting it, you were just sharing it, because the reason you share something on social media,
because you approve of it.
Well, not you want other people to see it.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, but a reshare is your cosign though.
Well, in some cases, because I might reshare like something that like some white supremacy to just say, look how wild this is.
I mean, given the fact that that's the area that we kind of exist in,
absolutely,
we're promoting awareness around white supremacy.
100%. And the reason I'm putting something on social media is specifically because I want other people to see it, right?
Right.
I want other people to see it and engage with it.
Yes.
And so
yes.
I'm going to just assume that maybe brother kind of, you remember, they joke about LeBron where they talk about every book he has, he's on like page 3 or 4 of the book. So I'm assuming
like
maybe,
the Malcolm X biography.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe Kyrie didn't get, because according to, and I tried to find a documentary.
Is it still on
Amazon?
I can't, well, I'm not going to pay to rent the bad boy, but I wanted to see if I could find it for free online. I could not, because I wanted to actually watch it. But according to what people are saying, one of the major parts of the documentary was it denied the Holocaust exists.
Oh.
So I don't see Kyrie as somebody that would be a Holocaust denier. But if you share something that has that type of material in it, you have a responsibility to come out and say, this is wrong. So I think so.
Yeah.
So what happens is first, Kyrie was again very defensive. But to me, he was defensive because of his relationship with the media, not necessarily because he was trying to ride for this documentary. That's how I'm seeing it, right?
Yeah.
Then, him and the ADL come out with this statement, joint statement. And then Kyrie gets asked about it from the media and again was very defensive, right?
Yeah.
I can't be anti-Semitic because I know where I come from. That really doesn't, I know what you're trying to say. But again, I think like I wish there was like some type of class we could bring like people that are like in the media, you know what I'm saying? Some type of, but he didn't apologize. They were asking him to apologize. He didn't apologize. He gets suspended by the Nets. Then he apologizes in an Instagram post. Then Nike drops him.
Yeah.
And then the Nets supposedly, and now this is according to what's the guy's name? Shams?
Yeah.
Shams, and he's like, an insider, NBA insider. He says the Nets have delivered Kyrie Irving 6 items he must complete to return to the team. Mm-hmm. So he was kind of suspended indefinitely. Apologize and condemn movie. He's already done that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? $500K donation to anti-hate causes. He's done that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So he's 2 for 6. What is that?
Yeah. Sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training, meet with ADL and Jewish leaders, meet with Joe Tsai, who I guess is the owner, to demonstrate understanding.
So what does that even mean? Because go ahead, Miracle. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
So again, I think, and I'll come to you, Miracle. This was the point where the black people started to feel like, hey, wait a second. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
You wanted the brother to apologize. He did apologize. And now it seems like you're piling. Now it seems like you're trying to really like
buck break.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Oh,
something just fell.
Yeah, so that's right.
We're buck breaking.
Right. And then you start to see the memes of like Kyrie being hanged, and it was like black men are being.
Whoa. What?
Yeah, like it was like a meme where like all the NBA players were around. It was like LeBron and, you know, I don't know who else, just top NBA players, and then Kyrie was like in the back, but he was like hanging.
Oh, I did not see that.
He was like being hung, and it's
I did not
we're
see
watching
that
a
shit.
lynching, and you know what I'm saying? And this is like black people sharing like, I'm not going to stand by where a black man gets lynched. You had Floyd Mayweather say some comments, which I thought was
where's
actually
Dr.
pretty dope.
Umar and all this?
He supposedly said something. I didn't get
Did
to
he really?
hear.
Okay,
You about to
Did you want us to stop the podcast so you can go?
I kind of want to hear what Dr. Umar said
Go be
about this
informed
shit,
by
man.
Dr.
Listen.
Umar. Miracle.
So I'm gonna defend Kyrie.
Okay, got you.
Because
He don't have time as a basketball player to watch whole documentaries.
no, it's not even the part about
Should be watching film.
putting it on the social media. It is the fact that the grace was not extended to Kyrie when he clearly said, when they've watched some of the longer interviews, he says, I placed this on my social media. I wasn't promoting it. I'm on a learning journey.
Right.
Fine.
Yes.
He does all the type of stuff.
Right. But I would argue, Miracle, just before you go, that part of why I believe that grace wasn't extended is because of his history of making these type of statements, because he shared the Alex Jones clip, and because of this contentious relationship he's developed with the media, because it's the media is the one, you know, we're One Hood Media. We know the media creates a narrative, and I believe that's why he wasn't given that grace. You know, all the things that happened, you know, with the COVID stuff, all that, you know, he's been super criticized in the media, and so he you know, like rightfully so, has like a negative interaction with them.
Thank you, Triple.
Yet when I'm just here so I don't get fined,
Yeah.
the NBA prevents NBA players from not doing these interviews.
Okay.
The NBA mandates and dictates that these players have to sit for these interviews for a set amount of time and cannot avoid or deflect these questions. That is a part of the media contract, because when I forgot what his name. I'm so bad. So, because when the I don't get fined,
Marshawn Lynch.
when Marshawn was doing
yeah.
that, they said, "Oh, you will not do that here." And so we have now forced people to actually answer these questions, to do all this type of stuff.
But if you share a
and Kyrie
documentary,
originally was like, "My bad."
no,
If you watch, he was like, "I'm not trying to promote it. I'm learning under the first couple of interviews."
well, but
And
it was
kept
like
going.
it was a lot. So I think people were saying like, and I think like, because like I felt like by the time we get to, I don't know if it's interview 2 or 3, I thought Kyrie was very eloquent in that, and it was an interview where he was standing in practice. But the first interview, they were actually asking him, like, do you agree with this? Do you? And he wasn't. He was like, I'm not going to back down.
Correct, because my thing
Y'all
is,
share stuff all the time that you
Facts.
don't agree with. So he was very contentious
but when it
towards
comes,
the media.
what I'm gonna say, when it comes to black people, they like to say, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic. Oh, you're homophobic. Oh,
Right,
you're
right, right,
transphobic,"
right.
and put these labels. And Kyrie is like, "No, you're not going to do that to me."
100%. Yeah.
And he's taking a stand about how these media
100%.
personalities are trying to get clickbait, because he was right. He was like,
Yes.
"This is the clip. It's going to go viral. This is what you're doing."
That's exactly what he
and
said.
so
Yes,
that
yes.
is why I'm like, okay, I understand what Kyrie is saying. The
100%.
movie is bananas. I grew up around, like, my dad was a prison convict for
Yes.
Christianity.
Yes.
So I grew up around all of these people and their theologies, and
100%.
to me, it's funny. It's like, that's like your crazy uncle. Everyone's like,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
uncle at the family reunion. No one really takes this stuff seriously. But I get how Jewish people see this and freak out.
Right.
But my thing
Particularly
is,
like after Kanye says all of this stuff.
Right, yeah.
Now
Yes.
here's Kyrie
Timing,
sharing.
But
timing is shit.
my
Timing's
thing
crazy.
is, the movie is $50 on Amazon, $11.99 to rent.
Yeah.
$50?
$50,
Jesus
$49.99 to
That's why
buy,
I didn't-
$11.
That's why I
something
tried to find the free version.
to rent. And
Who's
it's
charging
still,
$50
but
to
here's the
view
thing.
anything nowadays?
No, and it's still up there.
Still
if
there.
you were so
Right.
worried,
That's-
hold on.
that's the
If you were
discourse.
so
Come on,
worried
Miracle.
about the publication and the violence of this movie,
Absolutely.
why in the world were you not demanding Jeff Bezos, who's supposed to be one of your friends and partners,
Come on.
take it down? You've taken down other stuff off have Amazon. You've done all these other things.
Right.
Put
Yeah,
warnings.
yeah.
There was never, not until Sean King was like, how dare you try to break this black man, but let this white billionaire get off.
Come on, Martin Luther King.
Did there like, there was a private letter sent, and Amazon people have privately requested Amazon dues? No. Apparently a private letter was sent.
By whom?
The ADL. We don't know what it says. We don't know what it looks like. Nothing. No, my thing is,
they sent some Texas to base.
If Amazon has it publicly, come after Amazon publicly. If this is such a violent movie, come after everyone involved.
Right, absolutely.
You're only doing it for Kyrie,
right?
And then you've let all these other incidences slide.
True.
All these bigotry, all of these things, you let it slide, and then you're going to say, "Oh, he's being suspended indefinitely." He didn't hit anybody.
Yeah.
He didn't rape anybody. Yeah. He didn't beat anybody.
No.
He posted a movie.
Yeah.
He didn't even say go watch the film. He didn't even post the link.
Right.
He posted the link. He didn't put he didn't say, yo, man, I was doing my research. This is something really good. Yeah. All he did was post the link. That's all he did.
He is not actively.
No, he does not.
Done something.
He didn't
to
say
violate
go watch
his contract or harm people, and that is my problem.
So I just did want to. Okay,
I just did want to talk about the originals and the Hebrew Israelites and all of that.
Well, before you do, because I do want to just say there is precedence, right? Because initially nothing was done. He shared the link. Right. He had that contentious relationship. He didn't do anything. Like he wasn't suspended. He kept playing. Because remember, it was like a group of Jewish people that put fight anti-Semitism that was sitting courtside during the game. And it was, to me, it was only when, and so then when they did the joint statement with the ADL, people thought like that was it. It was over. But then when Kyrie spoke the second time, and again, like I said, I take that to his relationship with the media. He was again very confrontational with the media, and they were saying,
but he wasn't confrontational. He was chill. He was comical.
Well,
and I'm going
in terms of but basically he wasn't he didn't. They were saying do you not denounce anti-Semitism? Do you apologize? And it was he wasn't not confrontational, but he wasn't saying the words that
obstinate is the word you're looking for.
And Adam Silver wanted to hear. But I did want to say,
I don't hate people. Right. I just feel like I'm learning my identity. I think that's a justified point.
Okay, so there was precedence. I did want to set this up because there was a white NBA player who was I think either last year or maybe in the bubble, who was playing a video game on Twitch and used the anti-Semitic slur. He was suspended immediately. He was immediately suspended. He was immediately given a fine. And so a lot of people, when Kyrie wasn't suspended, was kind of saying, hey, I think his name was Miles Leonard. They're like, hey, this guy, used the anti-Semitic slur. He was suspended right away. How, is there a double standard because Kyrie is a great player?
He didn't use a slur.
He did not.
And the way we try to criminalize black action with actual white violence is a problem for me.
Okay, so
he posted a video.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, let me just flip it. And I think again, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying that you're wrong. You got she's in her Miracle Jones Esquire bag. You know what I'm saying?
She is.
Kyrie called it, sister.
She's showing you why she graduated.
So if let's say
top marks in
because we just saw, for instance, this year, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, Robert Sarver, who was accused of using the N-word, all over the office. He was accused of creating an environment that was dangerous for women to work at.
To his black athlete.
Right. So he was made to sell the team, right? Similarly to what happened with Donald Sterling, who was, actually Donald Sterling was given like he was banned for life. But so the NBA has, again, if a player, let's say it was a white player, let's say I can't name.
What was the man?
Let's say Tyler Hero.
I would say Caruso.
Yeah, let's say Alex Caruso.
Let's say man who would say he would fight every nigger.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with that.
Wait, who said
that? But I'm talking about the NBA. Let's say a white NBA player shared a documentary that had, racist imagery or basically said, slavery didn't exist or whatever, that had a negative impact on black people. Would you want the NBA to do something to him if he was kind of defiant, I just shared it, so what? Well, we want him to be, suspended or something like that? Like, what's the standard? I'm guessing that's what I'm asking to you.
If that was the case, a bunch of black people would have come and prayed for him, and they would say that they forgave him and move on. But no, there have been multiple.
That probably would have happened.
There have been multiple.
He probably would have been suspended.
And I'm more familiar with football. All the racist people in football who were getting the guy from
the Philadelphia Eagles,
the San Francisco,
Nick
Bosa. Right.
I'm more familiar with that, like racism and the NFL not doing anything.
100%.
More like than the NBA.
Right. But the NBA usually is the more proactive place, right?
But
when it comes to these issues, it was also another. I think it was a player this year that used homophobic lange,
but again,
that
that's
was
the
suspended.
Point. Using.
Right.
Something. That is my delineation.
So sharing, so even like if dude,
like if people were sharing Trump stuff when they were talking about the black people don't have fathers or
right.
People are going to go vote.
But that's not. I mean,
but it's still anti-black though.
100%. So you're saying that that's the standard. Like the standard should be if you share any anti-black stuff, it should be the same as if you share anti-Semitic stuff.
Correct. And also, gotcha. I think there should be a social media platform policy.
100%.
Because everybody was like, he pushed it out there, but he's always put weird documentaries 100%. On his social media. Yes. The whole and it's like, I want to think about this.
And he's searching.
For y'all to be like, ooh, all these free thinkers, y'all love free thinkers. To talk about all this stupid stuff about how planets don't exist, moon landings don't exist. Birds are robots, bees are, all this type of stuff. Y'all love that, and that's fine. But when it gets to then you're like, oh my gosh, no, it's part. But what I wanted. So
you believe like this is like some buck breaking that's going on with Kyrie?
I believe it could have been handled differently.
Okay,
I believe you could have said, you know what, we understand how horrible this is to deny the Holocaust.
Yes, we
are going to re-up and change our social media policies and review all of these things.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing that now.
Probably.
But for me, the whole movie is stupid.
Did you watch the film?
My couple of my friends are Hebrew Israelites. It makes absolutely no sense once again because they're only.
And you said Jasiri has problematic friends.
I'm from the South, and there's prisons everywhere. But if there's only 3,000 people who can be saved in the world of millions of folks,
isn't that what the Mormons believe?
It's the whole thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't the religion don't make sense to me. But it's this idea that.
So wait, if only 3,000 people can be saved, or like we're all competing?
Like it don't make sense.
So, but I guess
I don't believe it. But
a competition for salvation.
I think I don't have a problem coming from slaves, right? I don't have a problem.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
Having that be in my history.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
I hope not.
feel
it's there.
that being black, to be black into America is to be a slave.
Right.
And to have all of this going. So you have the curse of Ham, stuff. And so now people are like, black people are so burdened in society because we're the originals, because we're the original Jewish people, we're the original indigenous folks. We are, and that is why people are treating black people so bad. And they're looking for an excuse because chattel slavery has done so much to cut us off from our history. So maybe that's why I empathize a lot with Kyrie trying to find himself and his lineage, and as he's a new father trying to
can he mix some books in? I mean,
there are books about this though.
I know, but I'm wondering, can he mix them in? Like,
no, because there are a lot of books that validate that. You be like, oh my god,
that's true. That's true.
A lot of people self-publish because it gets embarrassing. But a lot of people are just searching for an identity. And they hear this thing, that's why we tell people, you're a king. What do we say?
Right.
We see a black woman, king. Hey, queen.
Peace queen.
Right? Not hey, farmer, not hey, gardener, hey, bookkeeper. We have this idea of being like kings and queens.
Right.
And we have it specifically because we are so embarrassed by the lineage of slavery.
Yes.
And
Bill Miracle, that's one of the most annoying things in the world.
But and even I fall guilty to it sometimes too.
But I hear you, but I think you're going... I think like what you're saying is correct, right?
No, I'm gonna say that's the problem with the originals and all of that.
Yeah. But I think like if you're somebody, again, if you're a Jewish person right now, you just watch Kanye go DEFCON 3 on you, You know what I'm saying? And then go all around about his doctor and all that. So you start to get worried, right? And I mean, we just had the anniversary of the Tree of Life here, the 4-year anniversary. So a lot of times Jewish people get worried because when people started to talk anti-Semitism, that's led to like violence against Jews, right? Supposedly like the NYPD issued some like, we got to protect the synagogues, whatever, right? So, and then now here comes Kyrie sharing this documentary that's like Holocaust denial. And so like,
I get that 100%. And I think I'm not mad at any Jewish person, because if you have a zero tolerance policy for anti-Semitism, I get that. I support that 100%. My issue is with individuals,
the public way it was being done
with the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA. Especially because, Joe is out here supporting a whole genocide of the Uyghur Muslims. There's been a whole lot of issues that the NBA has overlooked when it comes to like housing, when it comes to the living conditions of the people who are making their merchandise, all type of stuff. So for the NBA to care so much, and to say we're going to make this statement and we're going to reject anti-Semitism.
You're saying where's the equity?
It's not where the equity is. Like, where is the consistency?
Right. Okay.
Right.
And just to touch on what you said. So, and this was from the New York Daily News. This is about Joe Tsai, who is the owner of the Nets, who has a $7.9 billion net worth. It said that his company helped to fund China's cultural genocide of Muslims, according to a report, right? That like his his fortune was made in China, and that's where his company does a lot of business. But in that business, he helped to fund the cultural genocide of Muslims, and we didn't see this public pushback against him. We didn't hear the NBA do anything or say anything about it. For all we know, he wasn't suspended. Did the, what is it, CARE, the Center for
Arab Islamic Relations?
Yeah, did they come out and he had to meet with them?
Or American Islamic Relations.
Right, and so I think to your point, a lot of people have brought that up. Like, why is it okay for him to actually participate in real violence, right? If these reports by the New York Daily News are true, but then Kyrie just shares a link, and now he's being, possibly, maybe never play in the NBA again.
Is not even the most well put together movie that people have put like clips on social media. This is not even like a blockbuster like movie where you're just going to be like, this is fascinating. All this is true. And that's kind of what irritates me. Also, the how you're going to tell somebody to spend $500,000, right, is also like weird.
Yeah.
Like, where is that the standard going forward for everyone?
I mean, but he already did that. I think like
and they rejected it. And I just again.
So I did want to just
mandate. My last thing would be if you are not going to train your athletes as they come into your organization about homophobia, transphobia, anti-Semitism, all this type of stuff, don't mandate that they do these interviews, because a lot of these athletes are not intelligent in certain aspects because they have been focused so much on
playing basketball.
So much on, and
you can't expect everybody to be an activist.
And I think it would be really cool if the NBA would take this moment and say, you know what? This has shown us we really don't know about each other. We know that all of y'all.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. All of y'all come to the games. All of y'all
better
cheer
hire
for us.
Miracle Jones. What y'all doing?
Y'all don't know. And I would love for the NBA to do like education around anti-Semitism and homophobia and transphobia and Islamophobia and all the things. Yeah. Because when I go to sports games, it's really the most diverse. Like sometimes even more so than concerts.
Absolutely,
it really is the most diverse crowd, because it's like everybody's there. Usually for concerts, certain type of people who come to certain places, and I really think that would be really cool for the NBA to do. My problem is doing the suspension and saying that like he has to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, does he just say the same thing? Does he have to say, like, I don't hate Jewish people? Like, that is just, it's a very much of a gray area.
Yeah, it's weird. And like you said, so this was an article in the Washington Examiner that said Kyrie Irving apologized when will Joe Tsai. And I guess they said that his company, which is called Alibaba, which is fascinating, has been used to build a, quote, intrusive, omnipresent surveillance state that uses emerging technology to track individuals with greater efficiency. And so I think this all brings up those things. However, now, because ultimately, Kyrie does work for this man, right? I mean, he has a job. And, part of the reason why a organization like the New Jersey,
Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn,
I almost said New York Nets. Yeah, the
Brooklyn Nets pay Kyrie so much money is because he's a NBA star that's going to fill the seats up, right?
Yeah.
So now once he starts, and this is where like pure capitalism comes into play, right? Like you have a contract with Nike because you're a star and you're going to sell shoes because people like you. The minute you start to do things that make you unlikable and them unable to like create a marketing campaign around you, they're going to drop you. That's what we saw with Kanye and Adidas, right? I mean, and so I think there's a part of it. There's also a part of it where, because it's like, oh, we don't have free speech. Yes, we do. Everybody has free speech. There's consequences. And ultimately, if you want to be able to say whatever you want to say without consequences, you have to do for yourself. Like you have to have a financial setup where you don't owe anybody. But ultimately, like Kyrie has a job and he works for this man. This man is the owner. He is the player. You know what I'm saying? And, the same with like, he had a relationship with Nike. He gets paid because they can market him and use his face, his image and likeness to sell products. So I think to me, this is also sometimes what gets lost in this dynamic and conversation. Yeah, but say whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm from Chicago. We saw Craig Hodges during the Jordan years be super pro-black, and they got that nigga up out of there, man, quick.
They wasn't playing fucking games.
And then they put a mic in Jordan's face, and he was like, yo, Republicans
buy shoes too.
Yep. Now, Mike has changed, and he's donated to some very dope groups lately, so shout out to
you know what? I know one of them.
Jordan.
I know one of them organizations, man.
He's done a lot of good community work.
I heard they play respectability politics.
Yeah, he's grown. But I don't know. So like I'm curious as to your take on it, Treble, your take on it, Farouk, because I think it's part of this broader conversation, but that's what I wonder. I wonder, like, at the end of the day, like, he's a player on a team. And like, what responsibility does he have to like the team and the sponsors that, also give him millions of dollars? Does he have responsibility to them as well?
So I've been reading this book lately called The Case Against the State by Turner Cook.
Yeah.
One of the most profound things he said before he even starts saying anything that he thinks is, as a person who provides a proposition, it is your responsibility to then offer support and evidence that's,
100%,
supports
yes,
the claim that you make.
Yes.
So my thing is, when Kyrie shares this post, at that point he is making a claim. He is sharing a stance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it is his responsibility to provide more context if the context is missing.
Yeah.
And if the context isn't provided, then it's like, you kind of just left it open for interpretation,
Absolutely.
bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
art. If I don't explain my art, then it's I can't be mad at you for how you interpreted it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Actually.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't already been said. I do agree with the fact that, Kyrie is an employee, whether we like to look at it that way.
Whether we like to look at it or not.
Right. And that's always the conversation with sports and athletics. Is
100%.
Like, you are an employee. It doesn't matter if you're a superstar.
You're not.
Doesn't matter if you're a rookie.
You're not a slave.
You're not.
Right.
No.
And,
but
and,
you
and,
are.
And,
and there are bylaws. There are handbooks. You do get an indoctrination of what's acceptable,
100%.
what's not.
But Kyrie,
representing your organization.
Kyrie, as an employee, said, "I'm not going to take this vaccine." Yeah. And they continue to pay him.
Yeah. Right.
They played him on the places where they could play him.
Yeah, and that's
they didn't.
Says.
They didn't trade him. They didn't get rid of him.
There's
they kind of
consistency.
Yeah, they stood by him in that aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do think that though, had this have been a white player that done the same exact thing, we might have seen something different.
Different in what way?
I don't think that there would be.
So this was like, let's say this was, because I'm trying to think of the only player I could think of that might be on the level of Kyrie.
Jokic.
I was gonna say Luka Doncic.
Or Luka.
You know what I'm saying? So this was Luka, and Luka shared this.
And Luka's from where?
I think he's from Yugoslavia.
I
think they're both. I think him and Djokovic are from Yugoslavia or Jokic.
Like,
I don't know.
If this is one of those players that came from a white player that
Right,
came from a Muslim
right,
country,
right.
then it would be different.
Yeah.
Then it would be different. But
Okay.
Yugoslavia, right, where it's mostly Christian nation.
I don't know if that's how he grew up though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but anyway, had a white player done the same exact thing, step by step,
Right.
I don't think that the media would have came down as hard.
It wouldn't have been. That's why it wouldn't have been a step by step.
Yeah.
But does Kyrie's previous?
I'm sure. Yeah, the media does not like Kyrie, and the media has done a thing over the course of athletics where the media hated Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, and then to me, like even like. You know, like, and whenever we say the media, we're not just talking about like white media. Like a lot of those ex-NBA players,
they don't fuck
Stephen
with Kyrie.
A. Jackson. They have been so. I mean, they've been so critical of Kyrie.
I mean, and to be fair,
we've said on this show, like, oh come on, okay, y'all are going a little bit too far.
And they and to drive that same point home, the same way the media has it out. I'm using finger quotes for those who can't see. For Kyrie, they treat Mike Tomlin the same way. They don't fuck with Tom. No, because Tomlin is like, yo, listen, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Now that Tomlin hasn't said any problematic shit, but the media does not enjoy talking to Mike Tomlin because Mike Tomlin's very succinct.
That might be local media. That might be locally, yeah. But I haven't seen like when you watch like the NFL today, them being critical of Mike Tomlin. In the way where you've watched, like, I mean, we literally have watched.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
We've watched, like, for the past 2 years, people just call Kyrie an idiot. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith, Shaq, even before, and they just called him an idiot recently.
I think it's also because Mike Tomlin's the only black coach, though.
No, that's other black coaches.
No, the only black coach.
Winning.
There you go.
Yeah, but I have never seen, like, anybody. I mean, you've seen Terry Bradshaw take his shots, but you know he's an old ass racist. We don't give a damn. But I've never seen I haven't seen like black NFL players go in on Tomlin the way
the Pouncey. One of the Pouncey.
I'm talking about real. I mean, they're Trump supporters. I'm talking about like a Michael Strahan. I'm talking about these the pundits, right?
Okay.
So like I said, when you watch, you know, the most popular NBA show is Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson.
Right.
And they have basically just gone in on Kyrie
eviscerated him,
over the vaccine, over, you know, when he was talking about the earth is flat, when he left the Boston Celtics, you know, over just his general demeanor. They've really attacked him. And over these current statements, you know, Shaq called him an idiot. Barkley called him an idiot. They had actually called for him to be suspended before he actually was. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then then they brought up this whole conversation of, it was like, you know, LeBron was critical of him, and it was like, oh, these are the sellout black people, and you know, who's gonna stand with Kyrie?
Because there was
there
was a discourse to be held about LeBron in the bubble not having Black Lives Matter or anything on the back of his jersey. He had James on the back, but I know a lot of people were upset at that.
No, but it's
a likability thing
nailed
when it
and did all the other stuff
to cancellations. But I think with like Kyrie, it was like people who were like hadn't really liked him, like some of the,
100%,
and they were like, finally, it's like my moment to come for him.
100%.
And I think that was part of it. But I think that Kyrie is his own worst enemy.
Yes,
and I don't know who counsels him.
Yes,
but I think that I don't want Kyrie's biggest defender to be Candace Owens. I cannot lose another black man.
I mean,
clutches. That's like part of it.
He got a lot of support, and
he does
because of his COVID stance. He has a lot of
of support.
You know, Trumpian support.
And there's nothing wrong with asking questions. I think
nothing wrong
that
with it.
There is a way to have that conversation. Like, did this happen? Like, how do we know?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say earlier, and I've got sidetracked, is that Hitler killed black people.
Yes,
Hitler murdered black people.
100%.
Hitler had black people in these concentration camps.
Yes.
Hitler also used Africa as a proxy war that destroyed millions of lives of black people. And I need people to research how Hitler harmed black people.
Yeah.
I know, like, I've tweeted this out, but I know, like, a lot of us know, like, the Jesse Owens story when, like, he had to run in the Olympics and it was in Germany, and then he had to run out the tunnel so, like, Hitler wouldn't kill him. And that's, like, the the basics of what we learn about like how Hitler didn't like black people.
Yeah.
But Hitler hated black people even more than he hated Jewish people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so for any black person, melanated person, whatever you want to person, the global majority, to look at Hitler and be fascinated by Hitler is very problematic and ahistorical, because Hitler was a horrible person,
100%,
anti-black racist, and the reason he was able to kill so many Jewish folks is because he studied what was happening here in America and how they were treating black people,
absolutely, and
replicated that over in Europe for the communities that he didn't like, including queer people and including other minorities. So I really want people to, I'm not telling people to go read Mein Kampf, none of that. I'm saying just go back and look historically about what he said about these different communities, because no one should be putting Hitler quotes in a movie or in a book to prove like the identity and how horrible another group is.
100%, 100%. And I think it's interesting because I don't know if we have wrapped this conversation up. I think it is. I mean, I think clearly, you know, how the media, well, this is the Kyrie episode.
I mean,
I think clearly like how the media, it's a difference in the way. I mean, this is why we have One Hood Media. Like we literally have One Hood Media because how the media in Pittsburgh specifically portrayed black men, right? We did this.
Right.
They did a study on how
the
black
media
men
fucking
were
portrays
portrayed.
us.
Yeah. Oh, of course. You know what I'm saying? Individually, right? Miracle just came under attack for just like
I'm gonna get attacked after this one.
Hashtag protect Black Miracle.
So I that's hilarious. So I do agree, like, you know, it's definitely different, and it'll be interesting to see it play out, specifically because, you know, speaking of sharing not necessarily a Hitler quote, but, you know, Elon Musk, who is now over Twitter, you know, shared a meme with a Nazi soldier. Right. And then Elon Musk told everybody to vote for Republicans. And then Elon Musk, you know, who announced like, hey, you know, we're bringing comedy back now that I'm in charge of Twitter. And then everybody started parroting
and then
Elon
he started
Musk.
banning niggas. He was like, you know what?
He
Keep
banned
that shit up.
everybody that did that. In fact, if you have a blue check now, you can't even change your name on your thing now anymore because he didn't want people changing it to Elon Musk. And so, and then, you know, so I do think that it's also interesting in light of media to see, like, here's this billionaire who buys Twitter. And I thought it was interesting because somebody said, like, you know, he fires 75% of the people.
And then he asked for people to come back.
Well, I mean,
Twitter asked for people.
I thought it was funny because somebody said, I thought billionaires created jobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he bought Twitter and started firing people. Twitter Africa gutted that. Anything that had to do with content moderation to prevent, like, the spread of misinformation, fired those people. You know, the use of the N-word goes up 500%. And so it's interesting now, like, you know, are we leaving Twitter? Or are we?
That's a good question.
Should we do that? Like, how do we see this? Because it's interesting also to watch.
What are we going to join? True Social?
No.
I just wish we could band together and buy Twitter from him. I wish it could just be like a.
Well, apparently, you know, Diddy was one of his investors.
And here's the
that helped
thing.
him buy Twitter. Yeah.
Really?
Because Diddy wanted a seat at the table.
He doesn't have money. And here's the thing: Elon was not even a billionaire. He's broke. He doesn't have money. Trump is broke. He didn't have money.
Right.
Y'all fall in love with these personalities of
100%.
these basic mediocre white people.
Yes.
And you give them money and they do horrible things.
Yes.
And you act shocked.
100%.
Like
yeah.
What place did he try to in Latin America? Elon tried to disrupt just so he can go and get.
I forget what it was. This. Yeah, he did, and laughed at it, like joked about it, like because it was some mineral there that he wanted to get for Tesla or whatever. Absolutely,
and
yes,
it's just
yes.
He's not a good person, and we knew that. Jack knew that.
Yes,
Chile was it Chile?
Jack But my fascination with this whole thing is the amount of working class people that ride for Elon because if they were in his shoes, they were doing this exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's that thing that we talked about where like that was kind of Kanye's thing, right? He was like, I'm jealous of Jewish people because he wanted that power. He wants to be in a position of power where he can dictate what everybody else is doing. That's what he was saying. And it's like, you don't really want justice or equity. You just want to be the one imposing your will on everybody else. You know
I just started reading this thing about this. The richest man on the planet looks to be heading to Brazil to see the Trump of the tropics. Who the fuck is the Trump of the tropics?
Oh shit.
Wait. Reading is fundamental. Jair Bolsonaro.
Yeah, because he just lost.
The Trump of the tropics.
Yeah. And
what a fucking title that is, eh?
He just lost. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it is interesting because, I think you have...
That's an ill handle.
Although, people have been critical of Elon Musk, I don't know. I think people are obviously, advertisers are leaving. Supposedly 1 million people have left Twitter already. Whoopi Goldberg announced that she was leaving. And then, like you said, Farouk, he had to hire, I guess they fired some of the wrong people. This is somebody who we're told was
How do you renegotiate your contract at that point? Like, you know what I mean?
5 times.
Everything.
Yeah.
I do hope Twitter dies. I hope this is the ending of Twitter.
Yes.
I
always thought Twitter was like a wasteland of humanity.
I liked it because
I like it too. It's funny.
People and it's funny.
Everybody knows so much on Twitter. It's just frustrating to me.
I think that technology has really made us too close and too connected.
We should all see less of each other and hear less from each other.
And know less about each other. So
100%.
I hope like Twitter falls to the wayside a little bit and we move on. I like my Instagram, but I am trying to use social media less and less.
Yeah. It was a clip. It was just a clip of Beyonce where she was talking about how, we used to listen to Nina Simone. We didn't know who her boyfriend was. We didn't know what her children look like. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know about her personal life. We loved her voice and her music.
One of our guests had actually said that on a record he did.
What guest have we had?
I wasn't. Album I wasn't on. I don't know. What guest? We had a guest?
Lupe.
Oh, he did? Oh,
yeah, that's what wasn't a dude.
Okay. I guess on People, Power, and Politics.
Yeah.
Why did we just assumed he was talking about himself?
I hate you niggas, man. I hate
he always talks about himself.
He does always talk about himself. And I think it'll be interesting. I think one of the other conversations was around Brett Favre, right? Because people were comparing the way Brett Favre was being treated in the media. Now, again, Brett Favre isn't currently playing. So I think part of the difference
he's playing all right. He's playing with people's lives. He's playing with money. He's playing a much bigger game.
Oh my God.
He's playing real life Monopoly on this motherfucker. Big bank take little bank Favre.
Stole hundreds of millions out of the welfare in Mississippi, and supposedly now he was a funder.
Broke. No one's gonna notice.
Yeah, he said he's a funder in this drug company that it lied about what they could do around concussions. But I think again, Brett Favre, because he's retired, he doesn't have to be in front of that mic. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like you were talking about, Kyrie being mandated to do these interviews. Brett Favre can just hide out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
it was wild because when he did pop up, he was like, I did nothing wrong. And then he just went away. You know what I'm saying? But, so I think is that a good comparison? Saying why isn't Brett Favre getting the heat?
I mean, it's an honest question, and it's a critique of it's a critique of the media.
100%.
I mean,
Brett Favre is an older white man who was he's another older white man getting away with stealing money.
In comparison to sharing the
that's
link
not
to,
news, really.
Stealing hundreds of millions from welfare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Enron, this is not news. Really,
Trump,
really. It's not news.
Yeah.
I mean, whiteness is not the standard, and I always like to say that because there are always going to be people who get away with doing wrong. I think Kyrie, his issue is going to be his communication and his inability to put context to his post.
Yes.
Because I think if in the first day he was like, I just was randomly watching Amazon and this was interesting, so I posted it, people would have been like, okay.
Yeah,
and it would have helped him. Yeah. But Brett Favre is someone who's out here apparently stealing funds, committing federal crimes, and
what is
state
that, embezzlement?
crimes.
Yeah.
For volleyball, for the volleyball stadium,
Taking
and now for this medicine, and people are not going to hold him to account because he's the guy that they like. There's their legend.
He threw some touchdown passes.
So people
20 years ago
don't want it to be true about
also
Brett.
threw the most interceptions.
And so they're not going to do it. But Kyrie is someone I think that is brilliant, but has never been able to be humble in the sense of having an everyday conversation.
Yes,
because even the flat earther stuff was like, okay, you believe that, that's fine. It's like fun. You could have joked about it, right?
Yeah.
And then when it have been okay, but then he was just like, I'm smarter than you.
Yes.
And look down on people, and that
100%.
there was a legitimate discourse about COVID and the very end, what the long term effects are.
Yeah.
And so he could have spoken to those people, and it made sense. He could have explained
100%.
the beauty of being indigenous and needing to sage an area.
Yeah.
But he does like a little bit, and it's like, you don't know that, like you don't know this.
He does,
and I think that is like the disconnect.
And that's what I was trying to say. I think because of that history, like you. People want to tear you down. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you kind of, if people feel like that you're like looking down on them or like, you know, but then again, like you have somebody like a Donald Trump who's like 1,000 times worse, but also doesn't seem to get the level of pushback. He just said some anti-Semitic things and it kind of was like, went away very quickly. You know, Trump ain't apologizing. He ain't apologizing for nothing. And so it is interesting to see kind of that different dynamic play out. You know what I'm saying? And it also shows like, you know, like you said, like we have more work to do in terms of like not only self-education, but then how do we, I mean, we've done, you know, after Antoine and the Tree of Life, we've done like Black Jewish solidarity work, but we have a lot more to do in terms of like, these, you know, like cultural things. So it doesn't become this like us versus them. They're in power. They're trying to keep us in this part of it. You know, it doesn't become that, you know what I'm saying? But we're able to have like a broader, more nuanced conversation about like right and wrong. And in that conversation is, you know, Joe Tsai's business and Brett Favre's business and these other things that we're seeing happening all over the world.
Yeah. I mean, I still do my Illuminati jokes because I think they're funny, but it has been like, okay, we really can't say these things anymore. Yeah. And I do think there's some more conversations that we need to have about like anti-Semitism in the Black community and anti-Blackness in the Jewish community. We can build, especially what's happening in Pittsburgh. And I think that's one of the beauties of this city is we've really been able to delve into these conversations with folks like, you know, personally, privately. And maybe we can have that as a talk series in the future to do more of that. But I also want us to see sometimes like the value and the good in people and understand that sometimes people's ignorance isn't always hatred.
100%.
Because I'm pretty sure
that's a great point,
because I'm pretty sure Kyrie was watching the movie and was like, oh my gosh, I'm this thing and this is why people hate me. And that part is what resonated.
100%.
I don't think he even thought about like the Holocaust or any of or the stuff that they were saying. I think he was like, okay, this makes sense to me because this would explain why I'm being treated this way.
Yeah, like ignorance is one thing. Like that white girl who like called that black woman in Kentucky like a nigger for like 15 straight minutes. Like that's hatred. That was wild. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference between like you said, like, yo, I really didn't look into this. Like that was being ignorant. And I think that's a great point. And it's like we should treat those two things differently, right? We should, you know, ignorance should be treated with education, and then hatred is where we outright like kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't with that. Mm-hmm. So that's a great point.
I had one of my Jewish friends was said like that's a privilege. Like I can't figure out if you hate me if you're ignorant. All I know is you're a threat to me. And I said I understand that, but we just have a differing point of view because sometimes I think as Black people we can assess situations culturally very quickly.
Yeah, we have to. It's like a survival thing.
Yeah. You know, so you can go, this person's a threat, this person's not a threat. And because of that, sometimes our perceptions for these things are a little bit skewed because we're like, that's documentary. That's not him yelling. And again, that's like a privilege in looking at something that's harmful and oppressive. Yeah. And I fully understand that. But I also want us to get to the point where we can be like, okay, some people, I don't want to say people are stupid, but like some people just don't know and they don't get it. And you need someone to like break it down and explain those. And so I would also like to see us sometimes call people in. Yeah. And understanding that it takes sometimes weeks and months What did Papa John say? It took him like 2 years to stop saying the N-word. Sometimes it takes people like a longer time to like grasp concepts, and in our society, it can't be done in 24 hours.
That's funny. And I mean, it is. I think like it's interesting because I know we wrapping up. It's mad more things that we can talk about.
Man, we didn't get a chance to talk about half the shit.
We didn't get into like,
and we say that a lot, but like, yeah, like,
I did. Herschel Walker's like, I'll put my resume next to President Barack Obama.
If he wins tonight, I'm gonna cry.
Oh my God,
it's gonna be a funny 4 years.
I mean, it
lots of memes.
Funny as in disrespectful and oppressive.
Yeah, it was somebody put here's Barack Obama's resume. First black president of the Harvard Law Review, U.S. Senator, President of the United States, Nobel Peace Prize, 2-time Emmy winner, 2-time Grammy Award winner, 3 #1 best-selling books, Time Magazine Person of the Year twice, Netflix deal, killed Osama bin Laden. Herschel Walker's resume, good at football. Holds the Georgia single-season pregnancy record.
Oh, shit.
Man, brain broke.
He's on a Paw Patrol.
Like we talking about Kyrie sometimes coming across as arrogant. You'll put your resume next to Barack Obama, but that's like delusion times 1,000. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get into Bezos like having 24 bathrooms and not allowing his housekeepers to use any of them.
He said these are the good washrooms.
And they had to climb out of a laundry room window
how
to use the bathroom.
Everybody has a room in the house with a couch no one's allowed to sit on.
I mean,
Jeff Bezos has 24 washrooms no one's allowed to piss in.
So there is a lot we didn't get to. There was one other thing that I did. I can't remember. Ted Cruz getting booed. That was great. Yeah. So with that being said, our white pages that we got directly from Uncle Bobby's
in Philadelphia.
Shout out to Uncle Bobby's for hosting our conversation with Kerry Washington.
Lodge up the homie Corey Bush.
Yeah, Corey Bush, the forerunner. A story of pain, perseverance in America. Corey Bush is a congressperson from St. Louis, Missouri, an activist that went on to take power. We're hoping to see that happen right here in Western Pennsylvania. We're hoping by the time you hear this, we'll be celebrating Summer Lee's victory. Another activist, hopefully that's going to turn congressperson, the first black woman in Pennsylvania history to apply that role. So yeah, that'd be cool. You know what I mean?
Our call to action is, regardless of the results of the election, hold whomever is elected responsible.
Yes. True.
And accountable.
True. That's a great call to action.
That's our call to action.
And Miracle, you had something to say?
You'll see this when it airs on Wednesday.
Yes.
So Friday we'll be out on the north side.
Yes.
Come join us. We'll have free food. Politicians will be rallying. So if you thought that the election stuff was over,
yes,
it is not. We have a lot of stuff
you
to
thought
pass.
Wrong.
We have a lot of stuff to pass, a lot of stuff to get people to be invested in, and so we are going to be doing a lot of cool things. So make sure you come out Friday, 11 a.m. on the 11th. Also Veterans Day. We'll be on the north side, the Letter Carriers Hall.
Also, if you have a Pittsburgh Public School student, we are hosting a free screening of Wakanda Forever. It is going to be at the waterfront. This is going to be Monday, November 14th at 10 a.m. We're doing this in collaboration with Pittsburgh Public Schools and Movie Scene Queen. So if you want to have your children come watch Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever for free, they must be a Pittsburgh Public School student. Holla at us and we will connect you with how they can go on Monday.
It's still school on Monday.
Skip science class. Go to school, but class is going to be in Wakanda on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Courtesy of One Hood.
Who the hell is Movie Scene Queen?
Movie Scene Queen is a sister that does movie reviews from Pittsburgh, but she also named Mercedes, and she works with Pittsburgh Public Schools as well. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. So she's actually hosting a screening tomorrow of Wakanda Forever tomorrow evening. And then Friday also, we do just want to put this out because Friday is also the 10th anniversary of the shooting of our brother Leon Ford. I know he's doing an event there. it's hard to believe it's been 10 years, you know what I'm saying, since that happened. And so that also, is acknowledged on Friday as well. And he's doing an event with his foundation, the Here Foundation, that you could find more information about that. Anything else?
I want to eat. Let's wrap this up. I want to eat.
You want to eat? So what are we going to do on Sunday? Sunday?
Are we announcing that, or is that private?
We're just going to announce it.
Oh, okay. On Sunday.
Sunday.
Let's go.
We got brunch.
Nigga brunch.
Brunch with a black man.
Nigga brunch.
Hosted by our very own, Miracle Jones, Esquire. She's introducing the first episode of her series. You know what I'm saying? We out here doing media called Brunch with a Black Man. It's some off-brand dude on the first episode, though. So I mean,
off-brand and the brunch off-brand dude.
Do you have an alliteration for brunch? Do you have the
the Baron of Brunch?
The Baron of Brunch.
The Baron of Brunch is also going to be performing on Sunday.
Oh, you're going to be performing. So we're going to actually have brunch.
Yes. Oh my God.
We're actually going to have brunch. Man. We're going to be here at the Black Box.
Brunch talk back performance. We had this you know what?
You know what we did? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
I get it. I'm like annoying. I'm always nagging people. So a lot of people have just learned
this Sunday at the Black Box
at 11 o'clock at 11 a.m. And then also we have the big screen so we can stream the Steeler game at 1 o'clock. If you still want to get your eat on, we can stream the Steeler game, watch the game. We're gonna have brunch. We're gonna have food.
Only for the first hour, because
only for the first hour.
The Baron said y'all don't deserve his passwords.
and then talk back in performance and screening the first episode of Brunch with a Black Man. So this Sunday, come have brunch with us. You know what I'm saying? Kick it with us. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah. With that being said, anything else?
That's it, man.
That's it. And so, we hope when you watch this,
we won't be in slavery.
We won't
be celebrating.
400 years in the past.
Oh, Lord. Please go vote. Get your One Hood voting stickers. You see we got the fresh One Hood stickers. You know what I'm saying? Bam. Go vote.
Let's go.
Be safe, y'all. We out. One Hood.
Over the course of a few years, life yielded a crisis of pandemics, resulting in many reeling and searching for answers. Black men especially have had to grieve the passing of hip-hop icons DMX, Michael K. Williams, Biz Markie, and many others. How has this impacted Black men? How has this altered the way they see themselves, their ability to express themselves, and their mental health? We sit down with Black men raised on the culture of hip-hop and ask them directly, let's have a bite, take a step back in order to move forward. I'm your host, Miracle Jones, and this is Brunch with the Black Man.